Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dita Pratiwi, and today I would like to read about the story Timun Mas. Once upon a time, a middle-aged woman lived in a village in Java. She lived in an old house alone without a husband or children. People in the village called her Mbok Rondo because of her condition. Every day, old Mbok Rondo was does is farm in her small garden. She did this to fill her time because she didn't know what to do with her life at that moment. One day, Rhonda felt very lonely because she was alone and no one was by her side. Deep in her heart, Rhonda hoped and wished that if she had a child, her life would not be as lonely as she felt at that moment. Rhonda prayed to God. She begged that one day she would get a miracle where there was someone who could accompany her. Oh dear God, if I only, if only I had a child, then my life would be better and not as lonely as this. I don't know what to do, God. I'm lonely. If only a miracle came to me, surely I would be very happy, said Boronda weakly. Boronda was pensive for a moment afterward. Not knowing what to do, she finally decided to go to her small garden and check on her plants. At least by doing so, she could feel calmer and more alive. During her activities with her plants, she suddenly felt something. What is this? Why does this soil feel like it is shaking? Is there an earthquake? Oh my God, what is this? Borondo wondered. Borondo felt that the ground around her was shaking. She wondered if there would be an earthquake happening. She felt afraid, and with fear, she could only stay in the middle of her garden without moving an inch from there. Not long after that, the shaking stopped, and Boranda was relieved. However, her relief slowly disappeared, and she became even more surprised because she heard someone calling her from behind her body. The voice of the person was so big and terrifying that it scared her into looking at him. Borondo, ho, 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 the person said. With a sense of dread, Borondo finally looked at the direction of the source of the voice. After turning around, Borondo was shocked. It was in front of her was a huge green-colored creature with a terrible face. Borondo felt very scared, but she still faced the creature. Who are you? Why you are here? What do you need? Asked Miranda in a trembling voice. Ho, 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 ho. I'm Butoijo. I came here because I want to offer you something, replied the creature called Butoijo. Miranda, who felt surprised and curious, finally asked again. What is what is it? What do you want to offer me? Said Miranda. Butoijo smiled at Miranda's curious answer. With his big voice, Butoijo answered Miranda's question. I know that you want to have children, don't you? Said Putaijo. Boranda was surprised to hear the words of the Putaijo. She wondered how he knew that, even though she had only mentioned it when she prayed to God. Did the Putaijo hear her words when she prayed? But how did he hear them? With that curiosity, she answered him again. Yes, of course, yes, I really want to. But how do you know that I want a child? Asked Borando. Butoijo had guessed Boranda's words, answered loudly. You don't need to know where I found out about it. The most important thing now is I want to offer you. If you want to have a child, I can grant that. I can give you a child. Do you want to accept my offer or not? Answered Butoijo. But Rhonda, who heard this, was both confused and happy. She felt happy because she could have a child. Finally, there would be someone to accompany her. However, on the other hand, she also felt confused. How could that be possible? Thinking for a moment, but Rhonda thought maybe this was the answer to her prayers. Maybe this was the miracle God had given her. She finally considered the offer from the Buddha Icho and then decided to agree to the offer. Yes, I really want to have children. I accept the offer, but how can I get children? Asked Boranda enthusiastically. Budaijo, who heard the question from Boranda, replied, I can give you a child, but there is one requirement that you must fulfill, replied Budaijo. Boranda, who was already frantic with happiness, because she was going to have a child, answered firmly, I accept whatever the requirements are. Tell me, said Boranda. I'll give you the child, but when the child turns 17, I'll come back and get the child again. How about it? Do you agree? Asked Budoijo. But Rhonda was speechless when she heard the requirement put forward by Budoijo. She desperately wanted a child, but she was also afraid that she would have to return her child to Budoijo. But Rhonda was already filled with her desire to have a child, finally agreed to the condition proposed by the Budoijo. Okay, okay, I accept the requirement, replied Boranda firmly. Hearing Boranda's agreement, Budoijo then nodded and took a small pouch from under his clothes. Budoijo gave the pouch to Boranda and said what Boranda had to do. Take this. Plant what is in the pouch in your garden. Take care of what grows from it, and you will get what you want, said Budoijo. But Rhonda received the pouch given by Budoijo and opened it. Inside the pouch, Rhonda saw that there were some dried cucumber seeds, but the size of the cucumber seeds was bigger, different from the usual cucumber seeds. Overcoming all her curiosity, Rhonda finally nodded and thanked Budoijo. All right, I'll do it. Thank you very much, Budoijo. Thank you, said Rhonda. No need to thank. Remember, I will come back later to get it, replied Budoijo, who then turned around and left Rhonda's house. But Rhonda remained silent and watched Budoijo leave. The trembling of the ground was felt again, and Rhonda realized that the trembling she felt earlier had come from the footstep of Budoijo. Not long after that, Rhonda looked at the back of the cucumber seeds that Budoijo had given her earlier. Remembering the message from Budoijo, Rhonda then immediately rushed to get her gardening tools and plant the cucumber seeds. The efforts that Rhonda made gave good results. The cucumber grew well and had a fairly large size, until one day the cucumber finally ripened and separated from the stalk. But Rhonda, who saw this, finally took and brought the cucumber into her house. With her curiosity about the cucumber, Rhonda finally decided to open it. Rhonda took a knife and opened the cucumber. And how surprised Rhonda was after seeing what was inside the cucumber. After opening the cucumber, Rhonda saw that there was a beautiful girl inside. Rhonda was surprised and confused by what was happening. She was so happy that she finally had a child who could alleviate her loneliness. Rhonda cried with emotion at what a miracle had come to her. Oh dear, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Oh, my daughter, because you came from a golden cucumber. Your name is TIMUN, my dear child, said Rhonda, crying while holding her child. But Rhonda felt happy. Finally, she had a child and didn't feel lonely anymore. But Rhonda took good care of TIMUN. Happiness pervades both of their lives, and Timon Mas grows up to be a cheerful, beautiful, and kind girl. She always helped Rondo with all her activities. Both lived very happily with each other in their lives. Day after day passed until Timon Mas finally reached the age of 17. But Rondo, knowing this, then remembered the agreement she had made with Puto Ijo. She remembered the requirement that Puto Ijo had put forward to her, a requirement that Puto Ijo would take Timon Mas when she turned 17 years old. But Rondo, who felt scared, tried to figure out what she should do to prevent Puto Ijo from taking Timon Mas. But Rhonda doesn't want her daughter to be taken away from her. She doesn't want her daughter to go away from her. Dear God, what should I do? I don't want to give my child to him. I love her so much. What should I do, God? She asked God. In the midst of her fear, but Rhonda then heard a voice that came from nowhere. Go to the forest, find the hermit near the waterfall, and you will find your answer, said the voice. Hearing this, without thinking, Boranda immediately went to the forest to find the hermit. With uncertain feelings, Boranda walked through the forest to find the hermit. After walking for a long time, Boranda finally met the hermit. The mysterious voice had spoken of earlier. Boranda explained everything to the hermit until finally the hermit gave a bundle to Boranda. The hermit also gave a message about what Boranda should do with the bundle. Boranda, who understood, nodded and thanked the hermit. Not waiting long, Boranda then hurried to go home and meet her daughter Timon Mas. After arriving home, Boranda immediately looked for and called Timon Mas by name. Timon Mas, my dear, where are you? Come here, dear. Timon Mas, said Boranda, calling Timon Mas with a trembling voice. Yes, Mom. What's wrong, Mom? Why do you look so scared? Replied Timon Mas, who was surprised and confused to see her mother who was scared. Boranda, who saw the presence of Timon Mas, was relieved that her daughter was still there. Without waiting long, Boranda took out the bundle that the hermit had given her earlier. Boranda also told Timon Mas everything about how she finally had a child and her agreement with Puto Ijo. Timon Mas, who heard her mother's word, could only reflect and shed tears. Timon Mas didn't know what to do. She was afraid to face the fact that Puto Ijo would pick her up and take her away from her mother. Then what should I do, Mom? I'm scared, said Timon Mas while holding Boranda's hands. Boranda saw the look on her daughter's face and shed tears. Boranda also felt sad about what would happen. But before anything bad happens, Boranda will try to do what the hermit she met before said. Boranda gave the bundle the hermit had given her to Timon Mas. Boranda also explained what Timon Mas should do when she met Puto Ijo later. Here, take this, dear. When Puto Ijo comes later, run and spread the contents of this bundle pouch. Remember, first throw the seeds, second the needles, third the salt, and fourth throw the shrimp paste towards the Puto Ijo. Do you understand? Said Lorna, explaining. Yes, Mom, I understand, replied Timon Mas to her mother. Not long after that, the ground shook. Boranda and Timon Mas, who realized that the Puto Ijo would soon come to their house, decided to come out of the house and face the Puto Ijo. Ho, 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 Boranda. I've come to claim our agreement. Give me your daughter. Ha, 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 said Puto Ijo in a big voice. You won't get what you want, Puto Ijo. I won't give up on my daughter. Timon Mas, run! Run, Timon Mas, said Boranda loudly. Timon Mas, who heard her mother's order, immediately ran away from Puto Ijo. Puto Ijo, who saw this, felt angry and tried to chase Timun Mas. Timun Mas, who remembered her mother's message, then reached for the bundle that her mother had given her. Timun Mas then took the seeds inside and threw them at Buto Ijo. Accept this, Buto Ijo! Shouted Timun Mas, and she threw the seeds at Buto Ijo. After a few seconds, the seeds suddenly grew into a large, bushy cucumber plant. The plant wrapped around Butoijo's legs, making it difficult for him to move and chased Timun Mas. Timun Mas, who saw that, was relieved to be able to gain time to escape. Ah! What is this? Damn it! Timun Mas! Hey! You won't be able to run away from me! Said Butoijo, shouting. Timun Mas ignored Butoijo's words and continued to run fast from Butoijo. However, not long after that, Butoijo was able to escape from the twist of the cucumber plant. Timun Mas felt scared, so she went back to take the contents of the bundle her mother had given her. Timun Mas took the needle from the bundle and threw it again to Butoijo. Oh my god! How is this? Butoijo, accept this! Feel it! Shouted Timun Mas while throwing the needle and running. Not long after that, the needle turned into a bamboo tree with a sharp tip. Butoijo, who saw this, was annoyed. The bamboo hurt Butoijo's leg, so he had difficulty walking and chasing Cucumber Timun Mas. Ah! Shit! What is this? Timun Mas! I'm going to catch you! Butoijo shouted to vent his frustration. Timun Mas kept running, trying to get as far away from Butoijo as possible. She didn't want him to catch her, but he was already behind her again. Without thinking, Timun Mas reached into her bundle again and took some salt out of it. Timun Mas then threw salt at Butoijo. A second later, the salt turned into a large and deep puddle. Butoijo, who was in the puddle, had to swim to reach Timun Mas. Butoijo tried to swim and returned to chase Timun Mas. Timun Mas, I'll catch you! Just wait! Said Butoijo while swimming through the puddle. Hearing Butoijo's words, Timun Mas was again struck by fear, but her desire to be with her mother was greater than her fear. So she decided to run away from Butoijo again. Not long after that, Butoijo chased Timun Mas again. He managed to get out of the deep water puddle. Timun Mas was frustrated by this. She reached back into her mother's bundle, and there she was found only a bit shrimp paste. That was all. That was left of the bundle. With her fear in her heart, Timun Mas threw the shrimp paste at Butoijo. Oh my god! This is the only chance I have. Please help me to escape from Butoijo. Hey, Butoijo, you will never catch me. Feel this! Shouted Timun Mas while throwing the shrimp paste at Butoijo. In her mind, Timun Mas felt desperate about what would happen next to her. She could only hope that Butoijo could not catch her and that she would stay with her mother. Not long after that, the shrimp paste turned into thick, hot mud. Butoijo, who was in the middle of the mud, found it difficult to move. Coupled with the heat of the mud, it made Butoijo tormented and unable to move at all. What is this? Ah! No, I can move! Ah! Shouted Butoijo in pain. Butoijo tried to get out, but unfortunately he could not move because of the entanglement and also the heat of the mud, which eventually made him sink and die helplessly. Timun Mas, who heard and saw this, breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, she could escape from Butoijo. She could stay with her mother. Timun Mas knelt down and cried. Finally, her and her mother's worries were gone, and they could finally live together again. The end. So that's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.